I do happen to love cash, and we have some, but it's easier to just pull out that piece of plastic and swipe it. But then, yeah, the flip side of that, Dawn, is you're being tracked, and that's why I'm a believer in. So I'm a believer in Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. Bitcoin, new all-time highs, baby. Come on. You've been listening.
Yeah,
If you listen to me, right, you'll be making money in crypto, right? And it's not
I
my
know.
job. It's not financial
Should have
advice.
listened
But
to
hey,
you and
that's it.
everybody
You got to
else.
listen. That's right. That's it. I love it. A friend of mine in 2017, he worked at Costco. He told me in 2017, he's like, you may want to buy Bitcoin. And I looked and it was like $8,000. And I was like, I can't buy that. It's too expensive. He's like, you don't have to spend 8 grand. You could just put a little bit in it at a time. I was like, I don't know what this stuff is. It's too hard. I don't know where that guy is anymore. He
Yeah,
probably owns his own island at this point
yeah,
in time. So
yeah. If you got in early, if you know people who did, it's amazing. It's
well,
kind of
50
scary.
Cent,
What?
the
Yeah, 50.
rapper, apparently he back when Bitcoin was in its real early days, he accepted Bitcoin as a form of payment to sell some of his music. I mean, when it was worth next to nothing. And now, I mean, think about it. It's over 100 grand. 108, I believe, is where it's trading at right now. It's unbelievable. And I know for a lot of people, it's kind of hard to grasp because is it real or is it not real? Look, my thing is this: if I put money into it, and let's say I put $100 in, and it doubles in price, and it's worth $200, and I can sell it for 100% profit, real enough for me, you know.
Yeah,
So that's where I go for it.
yeah. So I guess. So I'm looking up what you're saying. It was 2014.
Yeah, at
Ironically named 50 Cent, who's probably like I don't know, a billionaire now, but
this point.
his decision to take the Bitcoin for he took 700, and that was just that year. At the time, they were valued at about $662.
Hmm.
So each one of those, half a million. So you think about where can you get that return on your investment? Wow.
The answer is you can't,
Yeah.
right? And I mean, there's safer things. Crypto, you lose your you lose your password, you can lose your crypto, and I get it. But I happen to be a huge believer in that industry. I was very pro crypto in well for a while, but 2022 in particular, and I started really telling all my conservative friends, look, it's kind of digital cash, it is traceable, but it's decentralized, and I was like, this is something I think the right, so to speak, it should be rallying around it. There's a freedom, right? You can grow your wealth. It trades 24/7. I mean, it's kind of gross, but there have been times where I woken up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and check on my trade, and I'm up, and I'm like, hey, good thing I drank too much water before bed. We're up a little bit, right? And I'll wake up, and my wife Brennan, I'll be like, hey, when I got up to go to the bathroom, I accidentally woke you up. She's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah. Well, we made a bleep ton of money, so there's some good things about it too. I happen to think it's great, and when Donald Trump started to embrace it in the 2024 campaign, I got very excited. Now I'm not into this meme coin thing that he's doing because I think that opens the door to a lot of foreign entanglements. Anybody could buy it. You're in China, you're on the Solana blockchain, you can go ahead and buy that meme coin, and it could look real fishy. So, there are things that I think need to be cleaned up with the space, but in general, if cash goes away, I would highly suggest everyone just familiarize yourself with cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. That's all. Because you see what 50 Cent did. Right? I think we're all still early. I think we're all still very early in that space. So,
Speaking just
um,
in the headlines, Trump's crypto dinner, tuxedos, luxury cars, and a former NBA star. So I guess that there was this huge event in Virginia with
yeah,
President
Loudoun
Trump
County.
last night. Yeah, private event last night for 220 crypto investors who bought into his meme coin.
Right.
And so, there are lawmakers on both sides of the aisle saying that he was selling access to accumulate personal wealth. That's the accusation here. But crypto enthusiasts, on the other hand, and this source, by the way, is NBC News. So, you know, take that for what it's worth. But
Right.
as far as their spin, and there's a little spin you saw in that headline, including NBA star, former NBA star Lamar Odom attending the dinner at Trump National Golf Club. This is Northern Virginia, as you mentioned, and just outside Washington. And then there were demonstrators outside saying Trump is a traitor, crypto corruption. So
Right.
there was actually just an event last night, Sean.
Yeah, it was I think for the top 100 holders of
Yes.
his meme coin. So he had that event, and it seems like a pretty good turnout. Again, do I think presidential candidates or president elects should be launching meme coins on the Solana blockchain? Shortly before they're sworn in. Maybe not the best look, but it is a good way for Donald Trump to say, hey. This is a guy who not too long ago called Bitcoin a scam because he's a big believer in the dollar. It's a good way for him to kind of really take crypto and a very, I think we're very early on this, but it's a burgeoning industry. And one of the campaign issues, and he didn't put it front and center, but he mentioned it a bunch of times that he wants the United States to be the crypto capital of the world. And the reason why I look at that and say this is a really nice America first, campaign issue is blockchain technology, the amount of potential that it has. I mean, you have physical deeds to your home that could be tokenized and put on the blockchain. Large assets like your vehicle, your house can be tokenized and stored on the blockchain. And we want the talent involved in this industry. A lot of smart
Hmm.
people, younger people. We want that talent here in the United States. We don't want those talented individuals going to Russia, going to China, going to some of these other countries who, you know, even India, right? Who I wouldn't say is necessarily an adversary, but we want the talent, and that's what Donald Trump's trying to do. He's trying to take the talent.